Food, the basic need of man. The other day I went to ISKCON temple and came to know of an interesting story about the founder of the society. It explained how this organization started distributing free meals to the poor school children within 8 kilometers of their ashrams. Once their founder went out of the ashram for a walk after the dinner, and by sheer chance he saw a shocking sight. Few poor street children in tattered clothes were fighting with street dogs to get the morsel of food thrown outside the ashram for stray animals. There were tears in his eyes. Then and there he instructed that no child within 8 kilometers radius of the Hare Krishna ashrams would go to bed hungry. Now take this. Nature ensures free food through mother's milk to every newborn. It is made available before the child lands on this revolving and spinning round mass of earth. The food is perfectly suited to the newborn's ability for digestion. Only Earth is known to have life because it provides the environment and food where living beings can survive and thrive. It is a natural law that all living beings have to eat food to survive. If nature wished, it could have been otherwise. We often hear in India a phrase used by poor persons, "Papi pet ka sawal hai." All living beings survive on food, while some thrive on it too, and make billions out of this basic need. For instance, McDonald's, Pizza Hut's, Kellogg's, Nestle's, Nerulus and so on. Food is a big business worth billions and billions of dollars. I am sure, I can not only make my living but also thrive on it by merely selling candies for the children all my life. McDonald's has made billions by merely selling burgers throughout the world. For all species, except perhaps Homo sapiens, the food is both a source of survival as well as a cause of death. The entire ecological chain and the web of its relationships are based on food. The big fish eats the small fish, literally. How cruel, this law. Fortunately for us, man has used the power of his intellect to bypass this cruelty on humans, though it inflicts inferior species to this law all the same. It hardly fights for food barring few exceptions. In this world of polarities, both abundance and scarcity exist simultaneously. For man, food is available in abundance and in infinite variety, provided to him by Mother Earth. Combined with man's innovative skills, the variety of cooked and uncooked food is perhaps the largest possible for any category. Especially, because it satisfies man's primal instinct for survival. On top of that, man is blessed with innumerable taste buds that are trained to enjoy this vast variety. This has many consequences. When I go for a walk in the morning in Lothian Gardens, different shapes and sizes of walkers tell their untold stories of sensuous enjoyment, especially of the tongue. Eating food indiscriminately is responsible for funny figures of men and women more like apple, pear, watermelon, or mango capped by sad-looking faces than like humans. Before these poor souls realize what is happening with their shapes and figures, it is too late. This again becomes a business opportunity for the likes of VLCC and Personal Points and all the new slimming saloons mushrooming everywhere. And then they subject one to all kinds of diets such as balanced, mono, carbohydrates, protein and so on. It is a big business, mind you. Thanks to man's eating habits and sedentary lifestyle. One man's problem is other man's business, the same basic food chain theory. Since food satisfies a deep-rooted need of man, business folks have exploited this need to the hilt. They throw lavish parties, invite poor babas and business executives and serve them exotic foods they could never dream to eat from their own pockets. Invitations to 5-star hotels could take the place of parties for one-to-one meetings, but food remains the main bait. They wind their way to their hearts through the stomach to swell their pockets with undeserved business deals. Many even titillate their groins, to boot. Son pe suhaga. Nevertheless, food is a much cheaper option. Take few more examples. My friend Anmol tells me about the pharmaceutical company's conferences in 5-star hotels on the launch of new medicines. The moment participants hear the clinking of soda bottles, they leave the main hall for the place where action is, i.e. drink is served. And the poor speaker has no option but to continue with his thinning audience. It happened once with me when I went to a park where meeting with the Deputy Commissioner of Police was organized with the RWA Residents Welfare Association of New Friends Colony, a colony of the elite well-to-do people. The moment tea and snacks were ready, people started leaving the lecture place for the tea. The poor RWA President's request to complete the meeting fell on deaf ears. The 2-rupee tea was more valuable than the meeting with the police officers with all their team for the welfare of the residents. This instinct for food has been admirably used by some religious sects to attract new devotees, chelas. Every Sunday free lunch and transport is offered to the devotees, new and old alike. This swells the audience to even tens of thousands on each occasion. However, I know of one sad story of a religious place. They bemoan the fact that only close to lunchtime the gathering increases and it thins immediately after the meal is over. However, there are good traditions of langar by Sikhs being carried on for centuries now, where all jointly cook and serve in community setting. Few sects follow the concept of Pradeep Prakash in the same tradition. Take another case, which is crude in taste. In my college days there was a common derogatory philosophy prevalent among students, the 5F philosophy of enjoying life. Find, follow, feed, fuck and forget them girls. The feeding was the central core to achieve the main objective of even this strategy. It is also well known that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. A common advice given to wives, if they want to please their husbands for some gain like money or jewelry or some such benefit. Similarly, I have seen mothers showering their love on kids through making the most delicious of foods for them. I know training kids to eat all kinds of food is a tough task for any parent, and a book can be written on that subject alone. The advertisements on TV add to parents' difficulty in this training. For instance, Maggi noodles, fruity, chocolates, etc. Take some more examples. One common way to show one's affection to guests is by continually offering the delicious food items when they visit our homes. Remember how this becomes a roaring business at Diwali, Eid, Christmas, or other festival times for sweet shops in India. Let us not underestimate the emotional value of food. This again is a multi-crore business in India. Food is one thing for which some people are willing to pay more than 1,000 rupees for a plate. Such pricing is common in well-known restaurants in Delhi, where people frequently visit and even at times wait in queues. It is the value for taste and style and maybe exclusivity. One bottle of wine or liquor may cost more than 10,000 rupees. It does not matter if it gives the high one needs. The importance of food served in parties can also be gauged from the choice of venues. The common decisive factor before choosing the venue for any party is the quality of food. Neither the aesthetics nor the decor nor the convenience of logistics is as important as the quality of food. After the parties are over, the common topic of discussion is also food. Whether it was delicious or awful. Even small children can be seen boasting about how many cold drinks they gulped or how many ice cream plates they polished off. Since for most of us it is easily available, we take food's value for granted. But at the gut level each one of us is hooked to it. For the same reason, the wise men of Indian spiritual heritage gave importance to food for enhancing the quality of mental makeup. They categorized the food into 3 categories known to most of us, namely, Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. For spiritual practitioners they prescribed Sattvic food. I have attended many spiritual training programs where the quality and quantity of food is well controlled and forms an important part of the practices to be undertaken by the participants. The sattvic food makes one energetic, light, and creative. The quantity prescribed for each meal is the same as contained in the shape formed by the anjali or joining of two hands together. Similarly, for other categories of food, different effects have been described. The tamasic food is one that makes one lethargic, while rajasic is one that makes one activity-oriented. Religious fasting is also a common phenomenon in India. Fast is kept to please gods for various reasons. This also explains the importance placed on food by Indians. Further, food is an important factor in both Indian and Western system of medicine, more so in Indian Ayurveda. Food is known to have different kinds of emotional and physical impacts for curing or causing diseases and levels of alertness. For instance, coffee is known to make people alert. Tea is supposed to have antioxidants that stop or slow down the aging process. One of my friends has told me that even the excreta we throw out in the morning can be used to analyze the condition of one's health. It is based on the characteristics of the excreta, such as, it is solid or semi-solid, smelly or watery, even color tells its own story. Imagine the unused food thrown out by the body has its own uses too. There are many new parlors opening up in India that do exclusive food therapy for various diseases. Man has also discovered, during his cultural evolution, different kinds of foods that are addictive and produce altered states of consciousness, such as various drugs, alcohol, tobacco, etc. These foods have also been used to do existential therapies or enriching perspectives of life besides their usual misuse so common in our modern culture. Many lives and families have been laid waste because of the addiction to such foods. Consuming liquor at marriages and parties is the common symbol of status. The quality and quantity of drugs and liquor determine the status of the host. The most trendy parties of youngsters in Delhi are incomplete without the highs of drugs. Women are commonly drugged and inebriated knowingly or unknowingly in such parties. People wish to run away from their usual lives and lose control. Such food helps in that too. Swindlers in trains also use such food for unsuspecting travelers. They lace the food items offered to their victims and then loot them of their valuables. This was so far as man's lust for food was concerned. Now let us see how the related issues have affected our society. Take the role and status of women in Indian families first. For women, in India at least, this basic need for food has fated them to be housewives. Their life revolves around managing the food for the family. 3 meals and tea-cum snacks in between for a family is too much of a job for a woman to keep her occupied throughout the day. The chucky of her life revolves around this food business. Day in and day out. No rest from this damn routine for them. Thanks to this basic need, skill in cooking a great meal becomes the status symbol for the SAS Bahus drama. The recognition in this art from the menfolk in joint family can be a trigger of great soap operas. The first test for a newlywed bahu in northern India is her cooking skills. How well she cooks becomes the talk of the house. The girls in the families are pressurized to learn this art well from the early age itself. It is the central identity-forming skill for her when she goes to her husband's family. However, modern Indian woman is managing to free herself from the clutches of this food business, while the Western woman has found a way through fast food. The fast food business runs in billions of dollars because it helps to free the woman from the home and makes her economically more productive member of the society. The trend is increasing towards liberation from these wide webs of cooking chore, which have ensnared the woman. Microwave and other cooking time-saving devices like deep freezer etc. spell the way to this freedom. The modern dabawalas so prevalent in big cities are also freeing women from this drudgery and bondage to house. These dabbawalas are fulfilling an important need of modern household and especially women. I see a great growth in this food business in the coming future. Food has not only affected the life of women but also has been a source of many controversies in the society. I would not like to dwell on the age-old controversy of non-vegetarian versus vegetarian food. Nevertheless, it is a source of conflict between couples and communities for long. Sometimes many rituals are associated with the very process of food taking. Like praying before taking the food or offering food to God before consuming it. This is a good practice because it helps one to value food. Children learn to respect food and taking food becomes a sacred process. In religious places, the food that is offered to God is partaken of as prasad. This food acquires a special significance. The religious gurus in Hindus also use food while imparting spiritual diksha or initiation. No wonder food is associated with every important ceremony in Indian context. Meal-eating norms are as significant at times as the meal itself. Mealtime becomes an important family meeting time, where all come together at one place, in this age of fast-paced life. Families sit together only at this time and share their concerns with each other. In traditional setups, this can be a special time for husband and wife to share family issues. On the not-so-positive note, there are also at times elaborate rituals regarding sharing of food. For instance, in traditional India, one cannot eat food touched by untouchables. Different castes have elaborate rules, rituals associated with sharing, and cooking of food. Women are not allowed to cook during their periods because she is supposed to be unclean. These are still prevailing in the interiors of India where modern culture has not influenced life. Influence of food can be seen in all aspects of life, more so in India. Food, at times, has been used by unscrupulous elements to poison their enemies. It is easy, goes undetected besides being convenient. His own cook killed Swami Dayanand of Arya Samaj fame. The cook poisoned his food as he was offered money to kill him. In Discovery Channel a program was shown where a wife poisoned her husband for insurance money. Mahatma Gandhi gave another dimension to death by fasting. He created such impact by fasts unto death that Britishers had to leave India. Even till today fasts unto death by strikers is used with great impact. Some old people and saints leave their mortal old coil by stopping the intake of food. Sometimes fast is also taken by family members to show their anger against the authority figures. It works like nothing else. One is putting one's life at stake. The intensity of emotion is high. No doubt, food plays a great role both in life and death. There is another significant trend seen through the ages that famines have been followed by plenty. Some new solution comes in sight. There is a myth that God provides food for even the tiniest of the tiny creatures. Once a well was being dug to the depth of 100 meters. One found a small ant with a rice particle in the stone there at that depth. Who is looking after the ant there? The Green Revolution solved India food problem? Many new such changes may happen in future. A new and startling discovery has been made in India regarding this basic need. An Indian has discovered a new kind of alternative for food. A few months ago, there was news about a man who has been taken to NASA for detailed scientific examination. He does not take any food. For survival he depends on the energy from sun's rays. He draws energy directly from the sun by looking at it morning and evening. He has started teaching this expertise to others as well. This is entirely different from the concept of hibernation where the stored food is used by the animal. Many animals have adapted themselves to the environment where they can store food, e.g. camels, or some such aspect is well advanced. But in this case, he gets his daily dose of energy directly from sun. This source of energy is inexhaustible and available in abundance everywhere. Let us see how the science of direct supply from sun's energy develops. If this science develops, at least the poor kids in tattered clothes will no longer have to fight with dogs in Indian streets for few morsels of food. Will it free man from all the joys and sorrows associated with food consumption?